I want to do a review of something that I bought. Let me get out of my bag here. So I want to do a review, something that I have not been able to find a review or a good critique of. But it was something that I bought, and it's something that probably quite a few people are familiar with, particularly in the survival industry. And that is the Pathfinder Phase One by Dave Canterbury. And I want to do a pretty comprehensive review here. Nothing, you know, not just like it's great, it's bad, but explain what I like about it, what I don't like about it. In truth, I kind of ordered it on a whim, and the first thing I want to talk about is the speed of shipping. I didn't pay for any like exceptional shipping, just their standard shipping. I think they had it to me in 3, maybe 4 days, which is really impressive. I've got to give them a ton of credit for getting it out quickly. That type of response time needs to be commended. I mean, it was obvious they want that in my hands and not in shipment or not being slow. When you get it, it comes just like this. You get a Write in the Rain notebook with the Pathfinder course, with the Pathfinder logo on it, and then you get the DVD CD set. And mine's been traveling around a bit with me, so it popped out. Normally it doesn't do that, but you have 2 DVDs and a CD. The Write in the Rain notebook. It's a Write in the Rain notebook. It's exactly what they claim it to be. When I opened this up and I looked at it, I had a little bit of excitement, and but it quickly turned to some dismay. Start with looking through the Write in the Rain notebook, and I thought it was really interesting in the beginning. And I was looking at the stuff, and I've heard some reviews of it, and it's a solid product. But then in the end, it got kind of military. I don't need how to put tactical mission graphics in there. Friendly or enemy unit symbols, sector sketch. I mean, that might be kind of useful. Range card preparation, casualty first aid. That's actually decent. U.S. Army troop leading procedures. I don't need that. How to call for fire. I mean, I'm an outdoorsman. I'm not a military man. I'm not out here scouting ahead and plotting things for aircraft to drop bombs on or anything. I'm just trying to get more comfortable outdoors. So that was kind of disappointing to me. Now, none of this critique is going to be new. I actually sent this all to Dave Canterbury and the Pathfinder School, and I even will include their responses in this. So when I talked about my complaints about this, his response was that to get a specially made Write in the Rain notebook, he'd have to order thousands of them, and his cash flow just couldn't support that. And I could defend that. And in the end, this isn't a big deal. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff in the back that I can't use. You know what? Things get tight, I'll tear it out and use it as fire tinder, or I'll use it as any sort of review if I decide to do a review of the Write in the Rain notebook. So this isn't a big deal, but it was a little dismaying. I kind of felt like it was like a military surplus that he just went and put his graphic on the front. And it's pretty much, it's not a military surplus, but that's what they make these for. And it's no big deal. I mean, that's the way they are. If you want to go buy yourself a Write in the Rain notebook, that's the way they all are. So you're not dodging anything by trying to get it from somebody else or anything. I mean, that's what the product is. And the truth is, my experience using it is this is awesome. It fits really good into my side pocket here, or pretty close. It's got graph paper in here that works really nice. It takes pencil, which is what I use. Warning, pencil doesn't erase very well in it. I've had a little bit of erasure that actually works, but for the most part, you might as well write in pen. You're not going to erase it with a pencil. And the reviews of it say that this thing is rock solid. I mean, you drop it in the water, pull it out, and everything is still written on it. So it's a good product. So that's not a big deal. This, on the other hand, was a lot more disheartening. When I looked at the DVDs and I started watching them, they seemed like for the most part, a collection of YouTubes done by Dave. And I always get a little icky when I buy something that I could have gotten almost all of it for free. Also, there was not really a lot of order in it. It just felt like he was grabbing YouTubes or videos off of his computer and slamming it onto a DVD. And so it wasn't like in the beginning his module 1, and beginning, and the next one is module 2, and the next one is module 3. It is nothing like that. It bounces around, it's all over the place. Sometimes he's giving you updates about his experiences with dual survival and such, and those are all wonderful, except for the fact that it made it look kind of bad. But they're not all kind of not attached to the process. He's got a couple of them in there that are just absolute perfect and gold. The one that comes to my mind is when he's sitting by the fire in there and he's making the spear, and he's talking about why he has you do that. That is fantastic. I really wish like everyone was like that. You know, I know he's a busy man, so he didn't really have the time to do this. But if like every one of those was like, he said, here's module 1, block 1, or whatever, and he sits down and he says, and this is why we're doing this, now go do it and have a good time. That would have been absolutely wonderful, but that isn't what we got on most of them. Now, when I sent this to Dave, and his response was that those videos are supposed to be bonus features, and he can't guarantee that they're going to stay on YouTube and free. And I understand that, but yeah, I'm still not a particularly big fan of that. And then on the CD is where he has the actual deliverables, and the actual Pathfinder course essentially is on there. And that, some of it was pretty neat, but the actual like deliverables was really, it really looked bad. It looked like somebody had taken an electric typewriter or a typewriter and typed it all out, misspellings, bad grammar and all, and then put it into like a spiral bound binder, and then put 3 holes in it so you could put it in your normal binder, and then realized that that was an awful lot of money to ship and to build, and so they just cut off the binding and ran it through a scanner. I mean, misspellings were all over the place. It's not very well ordered. You really have to look at it and go, okay, you know, there's not like a regular order that says, okay, here's the goal of this, and here's the deliverables, and here are the activities, or anything like that. You have to really kind of hunt to make that heads or tails. And he admitted that that's really what it was, that he had lowered the price by putting it all on a CD, so you didn't have to pay the printing costs. And that's fine, but it still looked pretty bad, and he said he would look into that. But in the end, even after that, I'm going to tell you that this is worth the money you pay for it. And the reason is that the actual activities in the module are fantastic. The things that he's making you do will stretch you, they'll push you, they'll force you to go out and actually do something. And it can't all be in your head. You're going to actually have to be out there and do something. And it's really going to push you hard. And he's got some things in there that are going to be a real challenge. He's got some that are really easy. And that makes it worth it all. Yeah, it's a little ugly looking, a little rough around the edges. One other thing I'd like to put in on this is that I got it, and I think it was that day or the next day that I sent my response and saying how disappointed I was with it. Wrote, you know, a whole long email explaining why I felt the way I did. And I want to say it was Sanj or Sonia. Anyways, it was within an hour or two. She had responded and said, well, if you don't like it, you're welcome to return it. It's no big deal. But then like 3 or 4 hours after that, I got a Dave Canterbury response. And that is amazingly impressive to me. I did not expect at all that, you know, Dave, as busy as he is, would sit down and actually type out a response to me. And what's even better about that is that when you start reading when I read his email, it only took like a sentence or two, and then I could hear him in my head. He writes just like he talks. And you could tell that he's not a grammar guy. He's not an English person. He is obviously a person that goes out and does things. He's not a person that sits inside and writes about them. And it's really who you want as a teacher. You don't want and as a mentor, you want somebody who goes out and does things, not somebody who can write it real pretty. You know, you can hire somebody for pits to make sure that everything's written pretty. There's plenty of English majors out there looking for a job right now that would be happy to do that. So in the end, I call it a buy. I mean, it's $70, or at least it was when I bought it, plus shipping and handling, and I think it was like $75 or something after that. I found the Write in the Rain notebook to be a wonderful thing to carry with me when I fill this one up. And if you see the front, you see that I've actually been writing in it. I'm probably going to buy another one. I really like them. I like the way they work. I like the Pathfinder system. The actual activities are just really, really good. And that is why I recommend to people that if you want to go in there and actually have something to kind of guide you and direct you and get you into some really good skills, I tell you, I think you'll have a struggle to beat the Pathfinder system if you can look past the rough around the edges, because it's really rough looking. But I know that Dave's really busy, so I don't expect a Pathfinder Phase One version 2 out anytime soon. So the rough edges is part of the charm, I think, in a way. But so I'd give it a buy. I really do. I do like it. I'm working on it myself. I'm about to send in my first set of deliverables. So anyway, so this is me giving a review, so that there is actually a real critique and a review of the Pathfinder Phase 1 course.